Yes.
In New York City.
Yes.
Just first tell me the trip from LA to New York. It was what? Tell me that.
It took 17 hours or something like that because someone was impersonating a JetBlue pilot. So all the flights were grounded and security swept, as you Americans do often. Security,
we always do that.
Yeah, the security sweep stuff. So yeah, I had to cancel a show and then push it to Sunday.
Okay.
But it sold out, so we're okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So well, you're here in New York now. Is it the first time here? Is it?
It's my first gig here in New York.
Okay.
I was kind of. I'll be very honest, I was kind of hoping to fly under the radar.
Okay.
This gig is kind of groundwork for a much larger tour that's going to happen in February, March, where one will be doing about 15, 16 cities.
In the States itself?
In the States.
Okay.
So one was hoping to kind of come and do a couple of clubs, test out the material, see how it went. We've sold 2,000 tickets at Caroline, so that I didn't expect.
What's going to be the difference or the main highlight between this time and next time around?
Well, I mean, this time I'm trying a small chunk of the material. And I'm doing about an hour. As part of the tour, I'll do about 2 hours on stage. So that'll be the difference.
Okay. I mean, talking about material, I know obviously rehearsal does go in it. Practice does go in it. Testing the audience, testing the waters. What does a comic do different, let's say, from an actor? In order to go on stage,
it's opposite sides of your brain. You know, acting is saying the same thing all day. Comedy is saying 500 things in 1 hour. Acting is all about infinitely fine details, and comedy is about very large spaces and very large audiences. Acting and comedy, you get instant feedback within a millisecond. Acting, you have to wait 6 months to find out if you screwed up or not.
There's a big joke that you have and it fails to deliver.
Yeah.
What's that thought in your head right away, and what goes on next?
Yeah, I think you have to listen at that point more than you have to talk. So you have to kind of look around, gauge the audience, listen to what they want, and find. It's like cooking live. So just whatever that ingredient is, you kind of have to find it.
Comedy in India is now really, really growing. And it's, I guess, thankful to the internet, social media. How important do you think social media is? And give me some pointers on what one can do to kind of launch themselves or go through that route to make them bigger.
For me, honestly, it's entirely social media based. I mean, the reason one is able to sell these tickets in New York or San Francisco, California is because one has a Twitter following or one has a Facebook following. Also, a lot of people may have never seen me do stand-up, but they've seen the podcast or they've seen a film. So there's a digital relationship there. So I think start putting content out digitally. I think that's the one thing. And then there's no way to predict what people relate to, what people won't, what goes viral, what doesn't. Nobody bloody knows. But just put enough content out there where people know you're responsible for your content.
And continuous content. So content should be going on. Let's say in India we have, let's say the AIB is doing really well. DVF is YouTube based, right? And they have their podcast as well. And I believe you were on one of the shows with Abish Matthew. You were on there for a little bit. But what do you consider those YouTube series? And now I think Y Films is there also launching these web films.
I mean, it depends on what you're looking to do. For me, the only digital thing I do is in a bathroom, right? I do the podcast, which is me reading a paper with my pants down. And we get 500,000 views an episode. I don't know why. I never thought this many people watch a guy take a shit for 10 minutes, but it works out. It depends on what you're looking to do. I think for me, largely my acting direction goes into movies, or it goes into stand-up, or it goes into the live game. As far as TVF goes, I think that's a different game of content or a different thing. YouTube, again, is changing. YouTube is no longer the preferred browser. Facebook is kind of taking over YouTube in terms of content. So all of that stuff, as Netflix comes into India, as Amazon Prime comes into India, it will all keep going up and down. But I think the one thing that will always remain constant is film. You know what I mean? People will always go to the movies and they will always come and see
Netflix is great too. We have CID and Adalat on Netflix now. We have actually original Bollywood or Indian content coming to Netflix as well. And what do you think about the comics here? Let's say the more popular ones, let's say the Indian ones. Let's say Aziz Ansari is there, Mindy has her own show. What do you think about the North Americans, Indians
I think
per se
they're
here?
Great. I think they're fantastic. You know, Aziz, Russell, Mindy, Paul Varghese, they've all done something which is open up a perspective to American audiences, which is an Indian perspective. I still maintain that American audiences are yet to witness an authentically Indian perspective, where the Indian accent isn't the punchline, it's just the perspective and how
that's
the guy
maybe
talks.
where you come in, right?
And that's kind of what I'm looking to do. So it's slowly growing.
How are the reactions to the other cities? I think you have performed in LA, right?
Yeah, we sold out LA, we sold out San Francisco, 2 shows. It's been great so far.
Anything particular that the audience maybe liked? That you think also worked?
It's just refreshing for them to see like a guy with an Indian accent not doing a quickie mart bit or not doing a head bobble kind of a joke, but just kind of talking about Obamacare or talking about freeways or talking about the weather. I think that to them is very, very refreshing because they all work in offices and live in apartment buildings where they just have Indian neighbors or colleagues who talk normally.
Absolutely.
And they don't talk about quickie marts and Apu from The Simpsons. You know what I mean? So I think that's refreshing to them.
How was the experience in B-Town? You know, we had Amit Sani Ki List, Go Go Gone, Delhi Belly.
It's been going good, man. I've got 5 releases next year. So, one in Bollywood, it's for me, it's like being promoted in a company. Every single year, I get to do a little bit more cinema.
Who is it? Sir Laundry. Surprise.
So started out with 1 scene in a film, then it was 4 scenes in a film, then it was supporting characters, then it was ensembles. Now I've got 5 leads coming out. So it's a mix of different kind of stuff. There's a rom-com in there, there's an action in there, there's an adult comedy in there, there's a drama in there. So I'm finally at a point where I'm getting to do a bunch of shit.
In some of the stuff, is it you yourself writing your scripts, or do you have your writers?
No, I think the first Weird Ass comedy movie will go on floor like end of next year, early 2017.
Is that your production brand?
That's my production company. It's called Weird Ass Comedy, and so that'll go on. I think like Jan 2015 is when I'll produce my.
What do we expect from that?
High concept comedy for sure. So kind of what Adam Sandler or Seth Rogen, etc. are doing here. That's
Very
kind
nice.
of what we're going to try.
Well, thank you for putting us on the map for that. Any quick thoughts about America, New York, the comedy that you're going to do here?
I'm really enjoying all this acts. It's just, like I said, I started out doing college in America and then I left.
Right.
And,
why did you leave? I mean, there was Knox, of
I
course,
always
and then
knew I wanted
there
to
was
do Bollywood.
Talk to me about Harvard. I mean, what was the
It was
scene
great,
in Harvard?
it was great, but I always knew I wanted to go home.
Right.
And now, suddenly this America and I have made up again. It's like getting back together with an ex-girlfriend. Because CAA signed me, so I'm the first ever comedian out of India to get signed by CAA, so they've got some big plans as well. So now I'm kind of just feeling it out again. It's been a while since I've been here.
Absolutely.
A lot has changed, everything has changed. And Indians' diversity is much huger now. Indians are much better understood now, so it feels like a groovy time to be.
Any particular thing you want to tell the Indians that live here on why they should go back to India as well?
Why you should go back to India? We're the second most investable destination in the world right now. We are rated to be the 3rd largest economy in the world right now. We have the largest working population under 30 on Earth. Awesome. Those are huge statistics.
Awesome.
That's where you should
Stats from Mr. Weird Ass Veerdas himself. Thank you so very much and all the very best.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you.